I'm learning a lot. A man diagnosed with schizophrenia has been given a support dog that can help him determine what is real and what is a hallucination. But the craziest part is there's no dog.
The Oscar-winning movie Oppenheimer finally premiered yesterday in Japan without warning.
One person shrieked. A soccer match between the U.S. and Mexico was briefly stopped because of homophobic chants from the crowd. Meanwhile, homophobic chants are how you officially start games in Boston. It happened. And yesterday on Truth Social, Trump posted a courtroom sketch of him sitting next to Jesus. Because if there's one guy whose trial famously ended well, it's Jesus.
President Biden said Friday that he would visit the site of the Baltimore bridge collapse because, like that bridge, Biden is no longer connecting with black communities.
After being found liable for defamation against 2 Georgia election workers, Rudy Giuliani was ordered yesterday to pay the hilarious sum of $148 million. You might as well just make it $1 billion. Because there's no way he can pay it. At this point, they only call Giuliani the mayor of 9/11 because that's all that's left in his bank account. A new study suggests that the average man exaggerates the length of their penis by more than 20%. But aren't you supposed to add 20% for tip?
NASA has named the 4 astronauts it will send on the Artemis II mission to the moon. And if things go wrong, I think I know who's dying first. Oh, he could do the Hitler salute now? 2 81-year-old women have traveled the world in 80 days after the post office lost their ashes.
A woman who's been traveling the world says she's gone on 34 first dates in nearly 20 countries. Her secret? She's being sex trafficked. As this year's awards season gets underway, there's growing movement to get rid of the gendered categories of Best Actor and Best Actress and instead call them Best Actor and Best Actor who got paid less. An 89-year-old Japanese man has been recognized as the oldest male surfer ever. He truly embodies the surfing lifestyle because every part of his body hangs loose.
In a new documentary, Pope Francis praises the virtues of sex, calling it one of the beautiful things that God has given to the human person. Not the way I do it.
A group of hikers in Great Britain had to be rescued when they got lost after taking psychedelic mushrooms. More embarrassing, they never actually left the house.
A deep-sea diver has announced plans to set a new record by living underwater for 100 days. I feel like the record is longer than that, said the people of New Orleans.
The National Brotherhood of Skiers is pushing for greater representation of black people in winter sports, which are predominantly white. So it seems like someone's a little jealous that we took their precious dunk contest.
President Biden is trying to downplay the recent leak of classified U.S. documents that were posted on social media because when you're over 80, a couple of leaks is nothing to be embarrassed about.
Doctors in Nepal saved a man after he inserted a water glass into his rectum for sexual gratification and it got stuck. But I think the man actually felt positive about the experience because he said the glass was half full.
After his arraignment, Donald Trump spoke to supporters at Mar-a-Lago and said there was a very dark cloud over our beloved country, which is also what he used to call Obama.
And police in Australia arrested a man after he was caught at a bus stop masturbating for over an hour. Australia, where the police let you finish.
It was announced that Puerto Rico's only zoo is closing after years of alleged animal neglect. Worse, the zoo is closing. It's being advertised as all you can eat. Newspapers around the country dropped the cartoon strip Dilbert after creator Scott Adams said he chose to live in a community where no black people live. So he lives in your building, huh, Colin?
The publisher of Roald Dahl's books announced that they're altering some of his insensitive language, like the words fat and ugly, as well as modernizing his portrayal of women, which will mostly affect Dahl's beloved children's classic, The Fat, Ugly Wife Who Knew Her Place. A Jeopardy contestant this week was forced to quit social media after people said his mustache looks like Hitler's. The contestant said he's so mad that he's had it up to here.
Cup Noodles has introduced a new breakfast version of their instant ramen that mixes the flavors of sausage, maple syrup, pancakes, and eggs. The flavor will be called Mom Left.
The New York City Department of Sanitation has launched its first campaign in 15 years with messages such as, if you litter, you're garbage, which is actually dialed back from the original version. Your litter belongs in the trash next to your whore wife.
The NBA Slam Dunk Contest was won by Mac McClung, a 6'2" white man who has only appeared in 2 NBA games, which is just a terrible way to end Black History Month.
A new study finds that the average child throws a tantrum 4 times a week, weeknights on Fox.
After a judge's ruling left access to abortion pills uncertain, some state officials are stockpiling them just in case. Officials like California Governor Gavin Newsom, Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey, and New York comedian Michael Che.
A man in Florida said he was surprised when he heard a knock at the door and it turned out to be an alligator. Even more surprising, it was doing the thing from Love Actually.
A proposed bill in California would create an alert system for missing black women and kids. This is in addition to the alert system for missing white women and kids, the news.
Officials in Berlin announced that women will now be allowed to go topless at the city's pools. But officials also said to be aware, it's not going to be the ones you want.
A new study finds that married men live a longer, healthier life. Yeah, but for what?
Apple has launched a new feature called Pay Later that lets users spread out payments for apps over the course of 6 weeks. And this has also launched my new favorite insult, Yo Mama's so poor, she put Candy Crush on layaway. Due to a computer error, a school in Massachusetts has been unable to turn off its lights for over a year and a half. The students are doing fine, but the classroom hamster has gone insane. Disney World is closing Splash Mountain to turn it into Tiana's Bayou Adventure after complaints that its Song of the South theme was racist. Okay, but where's the outrage about Disney forcing a mentally challenged dwarf to mine blood diamonds? Police officials in Colorado say that a bear discovered a wildlife camera in the woods and posed for more than 400 selfies. 400 selfies of a bear is also known as a Grindr profile. An Arizona woman was arrested after she allegedly went day drinking while her 5-month-old child was sitting home alone. Like a loser. Researchers say the number of gray whales off western North America has continued to decline for several years. It's a sad fact that makes me wonder if whale oil is really the best way to give my hair this amazing volume. Biologists in Florida are warning that the Jesus Christ lizard, named for its ability to run on water, could spread harmful diseases to humans. They hope to control the population by introducing a Pontius Pilate lizard.
According to a new report, by 2035, more than half of the world's population will be just how I like them.
British officials have unveiled King Charles III's new royal monogram. The C stands for Charles, the R is for Rex, and the 3 is for how many hundreds of yards Prince Andrew has to stay away from schools. The house where Lizzie Borden murdered her parents has been sold for $2 million and will be turned into a bed and breakfast. Though a bed and breakfast where a murder happened is pretty much just a day's in. Good evening, everyone.
Welcome to Weekend Update. I'm Michael Che.
I'm Colin Jost. Well, it's the first show of spring, so we'll start tonight with puppy murder. In a new book, South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem revealed that she once shot a dog that was untrainable. That's insane. If a dog is untrainable, you don't shoot it, you give it to President Biden.
Donald Trump said at a rally that he would make November 5th Christian Visibility Day. Wait, I thought that was called Ash Wednesday. The Florida Supreme Court has allowed the state's 6-week abortion ban to take effect. So now Florida's only remaining method for ending a pregnancy is roller coasters.
MAGA insiders are saying that Noem, seen here wearing the hair of that dog, now has zero chance of being Trump's running mate. But I don't know, something tells me Trump would fully support killing disobedient pets.
This week, Donald Trump said that he supports abortion laws being decided by the states instead of the federal government. But why stop there? Why not go even smaller and leave it up to the counties or the city? Or even better, take the government out of it completely and leave it the choice about what women can do with their bodies to the person who knows what they can do with them the best, their husbands. Insiders said that during his hush money trial, Donald Trump complained that none of his supporters were in court with him. But that's not true. What about all those cops?
It was also reported Friday that the U.S. economy added over 300,000 jobs. Unfortunately, most of them are bridge fixer.
Experts are saying that 2 different broods of cicadas will hatch this month, releasing trillions of cicadas into the U.S. And Biden is just letting them in.
Former President Donald Trump, seen here definitely not sleeping. He's probably just praying. Former President Trump, for the first time in his trial, wrote a message on a yellow Post-it note and handed it to his lawyer while he was making an argument. The Post-it read simply, "Can't pay you." In a video on Truth Social, Donald Trump falsely said that Democrats support abortion up to the 9th month and beyond, saying the baby is executed after birth. But he only thinks that happens because when Trump was a baby, a bunch of time travelers showed up trying to kill him.
Officials at Columbia University complained that protesters broke windows and destroyed school property. But so what? College kids also do that when they win the Final Four. Also, you're a university. If you really don't want students to freak out, stop telling them the truth. That's my advice for school and relationships. A new study finds that the top reason more teenage boys are virgins is that they haven't found the right person yet, which suggests a critical nationwide shortage on skanks. All right.
First Lady Jill Biden also unveiled a new ice rink near the White House, setting the stage for next week's headline, "President Shatters Pelvis on Ice Rink."
President Biden said that the National Guard should not be called in to deal with campus protests, but I'm just happy that he's finally not sending military aid somewhere.
House Republicans have introduced a bill to rename Washington, D.C.'s Dulles Airport after Donald Trump, because airports are a lot like Trump, a chaotic nightmare that turns you against your own family.
O.J. Simpson died this week at the age of 76 after a battle with prostate cancer that was planted on him by the LAPD. That was was my best joke, Colin.
Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene said next week she will force a vote to oust House Speaker Mike Johnson. And if there's one thing I bet she's amazing at, it's driving men away.
It was reported that the man who married a conjoined twin is facing a paternity lawsuit from his ex-wife. Great. The last thing that guy needs is another mouth to feed. Yesterday, President Biden released a new video with Barack Obama in which they remind people that Obamacare is still available, but according to polls, people really want to know if Obama is still available. During a campaign event marking the start of Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, President Biden criticized Japan as being xenophobic, which is crazy because why would the Japanese be scared of foreigners? Drake just dropped another diss record, guys. I'm just kidding. I just say that when I bomb.
On his website, I'm going to guess scam, Donald Trump denied reports that he was so depressed after the 2020 election that he stopped eating, saying, quote, "It was not that I was not eating, it was that I was eating too much." Wow, good save. That's like when a rumor went around middle school that I had peed my pants, and I was like, joke's on you, because I actually pooped them. Florida's new abortion ban means that the majority of women in the South will have to travel more than 300 miles for the procedure. On the plus side, you can get free travel to New York by disguising yourself as a migrant. A fist fight almost broke out at a congressional hearing after Senator Mark Wayne Mullen challenged the president of the Teamsters Union to a fist fight. You challenge the president of the Teamsters to a fight? Do you have a death wish? The two things I learned growing up in New York were never mess with the Teamsters and don't drink that Snapple you found on the subway.
A new poll shows that supporters of President Biden and Donald Trump are sharply divided over where they get their news from. People who support Biden are more likely to get their news from newspapers and mainstream media, while Trump supporters get their news from T-shirts. Speak for yourself. If convicted, Hunter Biden could be sentenced to up to 17 years in prison, which would be the first time any Biden has successfully completed a sentence.
A new census report shows that by the end of the year 2060, 1 out of every 4 Americans will be Latino. That's how good Bad Bunny's music is. Donald Trump also told supporters that if he's elected, he will focus on anti-white racism. Thank God. My people have suffered long enough. Sorry, Che, but time's up.
House Speaker Mike Johnson said that he is blurring the faces on the footage of January 6 rioters so that none of them would be charged with a crime. So unfortunately, we'll never know who they are.
Just today, Donald Trump posted on Truth Social that he wasn't scared of going to jail for violating a gag order, saying, "I will gladly become a modern-day Nelson Mandela." Unfortunately for Halloween.
I knew it was going to come out of you someday. Today was the 150th running of the Kentucky Derby, also known among horses as Squid Game.
There was actually an error in the LA Times obituary for O.J. Simpson. In the section about his prison time, instead of writing O.J. walked out of the Lovelock Correctional Center, they wrote Trump walked out of the Lovelock Correctional Center, a free man for the first time in 9 years. And it's not a great sign for Trump that even autocorrect thinks he belongs in jail.
It was announced that both Boomer Esiason and Phil Simms are leaving CBS's The NFL Today. The former quarterback said they want to spend more time figuring out which one is which. A new report shows that the gender death gap is rising, with men dying an average of 6 years before women, which is, it's actually scientific proof that men are actually dying a little every time we have to listen to your boring-ass stories.
fans of the children's show Bluey are saying that a line in a recent episode hinted that Bluey's mom used to go to a park to smoke marijuana. Meanwhile, over at Coco Melon, every baby's on acid. Just hours ago, the Kentucky Derby was won in a photo finish by Mystic Dan. Mystic Dan is also the guy who sells acid to Coco Melon.
President Biden met with Japan's prime minister where they discussed building a new bullet train system in America using advanced Japanese technology. In return, Japan requested the advanced American technology of forks.
A new study finds that your risk of developing diabetes depends on how fast you walk and whether this sound plays while you're walking.
It was reported that Sylvester Stallone is writing a memoir. The memoir is 300 pages long and has a word count of 1. That's good acting, right, Colin? You like that? I've been working on it all.
Really good acting.
New Jersey police recaptured an escaped pig named Albert Einstein. They call him Albert Einstein because compared to people in New Jersey, pigs are geniuses. Oh, man.
Wow.
New York City officials are considering controlling the city's growing rat population by using birth control pellets, which will also finally let female rats focus on their careers.
An elementary school teacher in Wisconsin was arrested after she allegedly made out with one of her 5th grade students just months before her wedding, which is why you should never have your bachelorette party at Chuck E. Cheese.
Scientists in Portugal have accidentally created a mouse embryo that has an extra leg where its genitals should be. And brother, same. Scientists in New Guinea have rediscovered a long-lost mammal called a monotreme, which has the quills of a hedgehog, the snout of an anteater, the feet of a mole, and the ass of an angel. I'm just reading it, man. Nearly 100,000 pounds of sliced prosciutto is being recalled for not being inspected properly, which is weird because I thought prosciutto inspector was just an Italian slur for gay. Prosciutto inspector? No? All right.
And
this is a really rough episode for me, Colin.
Doritos has created new software called Doritos Silent, which removes the sound of eating from video calls. Not to be outdone, Taco Bell is working on new software that removes the sound of screaming from bathrooms.
This week, sky gazers were treated to the beaver moon, which is only visible for a few seconds when the moon gets out of the shower.
An 11-day cruise is being offered next year from Miami to the Caribbean, in which passengers will be nude. The cruise will offer pickleball, cornhole, and also games. A new report chronicles a disorder called sexsomnia, in which people try to have sex while they're asleep. The report was written by someone named Phil Fosby. The TSA reports that in the first 3 months of this year, they've intercepted 1,500 guns in carry-on bags, and the majority of them were loaded. Because you're giving me that window seat. It was reported that the James Bond books are being rewritten to remove offensive material. So the character Pussy Galore will now be called Cooter Aplenty.
May is National Masturbation Month, so stop knocking on my dressing room door.
And now a correction to a story we ran last week. Prince Charles is actually the one in the middle. So We apologize for that.
Muslim student at a high school in California was upset after the school yearbook falsely printed her name as ISIS, while the yearbook also mistakenly identified their only Asian student as Kung Fu Panda.
Fisher-Price has launched an online museum showcasing its toys over the past 90 years. Or you can see them in person at America's most famous toy museum, the Neverland Ranch.
Last night, the epic disaster film Twister opened to big box office and some controversy. The Reverend Jesse Jackson has called for a boycott of the movie, claiming that not enough black people in the film are killed by tornadoes.
A British version of RuPaul's Drag Race will begin airing next year on the BBC. And because it's England, their penises will be tucked to the right side.
Sesame Street has introduced 2 new black Muppets to help explain racial difference to children, which begs the question, are these Muppets white? Kelsey Grammer announced that he will star in a revival of Frasier. For those of you too young to remember, Frasier was the show that made Friends look black.
The group advocating replacing Andrew Jackson on the $20 bill with a woman announced that the winner of the poll for the new face of the currency is Harriet Tubman. It's a move that could have racists all over saying, "Can I get that intense?"
130 years after the Civil War, the state of Mississippi has finally voted to abolish slavery. Representatives say they would have liked to have done it sooner, but they were delayed due to some awfully big cotton crops. They had some kind of big cotton thing. All right.
Warner Brothers is producing a new movie in which Superman is black. And a black Superman actually makes a lot of sense when you remember that Superman was abandoned by his parents as a baby.
Virginia has become the first state in the South to abolish the death penalty. So if you'll excuse me, I've got some white women to whistle at.
Last week on Larry King Live, Marlon Brando made the shocking statement that Hollywood is, quote, run by Jews. In response, outraged Jewish organizations made it snow in New York in April.
I'm worried about this one now. An auction of Nazi memorabilia was held, which featured items such as Hitler's top hat and Eva Braun's dress. And it's tough to auction off Nazi memorabilia because everyone always looks like they're bidding. Thank you. Some applause.
I liked it. Police in Ohio say that a report of a homeless man sleeping on a bench turned out to be a statue, which was a huge relief because they shot it 15 times.
This week is Taxi Cab Appreciation Week, so to all you taxi cab drivers out there, I'd appreciate it if you'd take a shower once in a while. How'd that
be? A Michigan man is planning to run over 3,000 miles in 100 days as an homage to Forrest Gump. And a straight-up F.U. to Lieutenant Dan.
Almost 100 art industry figures have criticized 4 different museum plans to postpone exhibits featuring an artist's paintings of the KKK. But if you want to see portraits of Klansmen, you can always search Jost on Ancestry.com. Okay, well, whatever.
An obese monkey in Thailand named Godzilla has been sent to a special facility to lose weight. Officials realized the monkey was overweight when a bunch of black guys kept hitting on it.
That's pretty racist, Colin. Police are being investigated after video surfaced of them using excessive force on a homeless black man accused of urinating in public. But I say great work keeping our streets clean, boys. Yes, sir. Anything the police do is all right with old Mikey Che.
This week marks the 65th anniversary of Rosa Parks refusing to give up her seat on an Alabama bus. And I just wish that all black people could follow her example of sitting down and shutting up.
Good. After trying for several years, the New York City Commission voted to remove a statue of Thomas Jefferson from City Hall. They were finally able to remove it by telling the statue there was a hot black lady outside.
Well, officials at the Barcelona Zoo revealed that 4 lions at the facility tested positive for coronavirus. Even more shocking, it's because they attended a Hasidic wedding.
It was revealed that the sequel to the movie Hocus Pocus is in the works for Disney Plus, which judging by this picture is a movie about every white woman I've ever slept with. Cool.
PLO leader Yasser Arafat announced this week that his wife is pregnant. The happy couple said they really don't care if the child is a boy or a girl, just as long as it hates Jews.
Tomorrow is Easter Sunday, so to all you Christians out there, happy Easter. And to the Jews, nice try.
A man proposed to his longtime girlfriend while she was in the middle of the New York City Marathon. Because what woman can resist a man who doesn't wait for her to finish? Oh. Well, I knew you'd like that one, so here's another one. Warner Brothers is producing a new movie in which Superman is black. In this version, black Superman's kryptonite is an honest day's work.
Whoa! In the wake of the verdict, angry Menendez defense attorney Leslie Abramson said the jury simply chose not to believe the brothers' excuse that they had been sexually abused by their father, and says she knows why. Quote, "It's because my clients are black."
Queen Elizabeth II has posted her first ever picture on Instagram. Finally, a chance for commoners to directly tell the Queen, show feet.
4 Wisconsin men have been charged with felony hate crimes after burning a man's buggy simply because he was Amish. If convicted, the men face up to 25 years in prison. But furious Amish leaders say that is not enough. They want the dunking wheel.
Purdue University researchers have created the whitest paint on record. The paint is so white, I'm its favorite part of SNL.
I like this a lot.
And plans for a 3-year-long around-the-world grant was in response to the results of a poll that asked respondents the question, is it okay to be white? Oh, I'd say it's more than just okay. Tucker Carlson, seen here laughing at a dog locked in a hot car, released security footage from the January 6th attacks with the violence edited out and said it proves it was a peaceful gathering, which is like editing all the sex out of a porn video and saying it's a short film about being a stepmom. As this year's award season gets underway, there's growing movement to get rid of the gendered categories of Best Actor and Best Actress and instead call them Best Actor and Best Actor who got paid less. It was reported that the James Bond books are being rewritten to remove offensive material. So the character Pussy Galore will now be called Cooter Aplenty.
A man in Europe went to the hospital for a routine procedure and was mistakenly given a circumcision instead. It sounds bad, but he's lucky because Europeans usually don't leave a tip. The makers of Johnny Walker are introducing a series of whiskeys inspired by Game of Thrones. The whiskeys are so strong that you'll forget she's your aunt.
A woman in Australia gave birth to a 13-pound baby, completely ruining her down under. Doctors say it has left her with what you might call a bloomin' onion. Sorry.
A new study finds that sheep have the ability to recognize faces. So remember, farmers, always hit it from the back.
And of course, nuns are violent. I mean, imagine a regular teacher and how frustrated they are all the time. Now imagine that same teacher, but they can never have sex. I mean, that's why priests are always nicer than nuns. I mean, at least priests are having sex.
Police arrested a man who set his bicycle down at an intersection, dropped his pants, and started dancing, which, as far as I know, might be what CrossFit is.
An Arizona fire that caused millions in damage began when a father at a gender reveal party used a high-velocity firearm to shoot a target that exploded. So we don't know the gender, but we do know who's getting custody.
Police in California are searching for the person who broke into a woman's house and stole a box containing her late husband's ashes. It's like they always say, no matter what, some bitch is always trying to take your man. Officials in a small town in China have given in to animal rights activists and made it illegal to sell dog meat. So good news, animal lovers. Free dog meat! Pope Francis this week criticized the magazine Charlie Hebdo by saying, you can't make a toy out of religions. And then he put on his giant hat, grabbed his wand, and went back to his golden castle.
A woman in Bristol, England says she's had sex with at least 20 ghosts. Or, hear me out, British dudes are just super pale.
You know, last week HBO aired Leaving Neverland, a documentary detailing multiple child molestation charges against Michael Jackson. And they say this doc has done more damage to Michael Jackson than his last doc, Dr. Conrad Murray. Police arrested a legless woman in Florida who was wanted for skipping a court date. It's a rare case of a legless person skipping. I'm not above that joke at all. A woman in Utah survived after her SUV got stuck in the snow and mud for nearly a week. The woman says she couldn't have made it without her children. Her delicious, delicious children.
A theme park in England has banned all single people from entering the park to protect children from possible pedophiles. So let this be a lesson to all you pedophiles out there. Start working in teams. A new survey finds that 4 out of 5 Americans believe that sexual harassment is happening in the workplace, while 1 out of 5 couldn't respond because their boss's penis was blocking the keyboard.
The FBI is investigating whether singer-songwriter Ryan Adams committed a crime by engaging in sexually explicit communications with a 14-year-old fan. Just another example of a white musician doing something a black musician did first.
Well, this Wednesday was Ash Wednesday, the day where white people show their support for 21 Savage.
Police in Florida say that the owner of a pet zebra shot and killed the animal after it escaped from its enclosure, finally answering the question, what's black and white and red all over? The CEO of American Airlines met with the head of the NAACP over allegations that the airline is racially biased, and I bet they both showed up late. See, It's okay for me to make that joke because I'm racist. You know,
October is Blindness Awareness Month, so don't forget to say you're wearing a ribbon.
a nonprofit group has announced plans to create a library on the moon. Cool, said kids in Chicago. Don't all visit. A New Hampshire man was arrested for child endangerment after he left his twin 9-year-old nephews home alone for days at a time. Said one of the twins, "We used to be triplets."
Katy Perry's fashion line has discontinued a shoe after criticism that it resembled blackface, but I don't know, it doesn't even really resemble a shoe. If anyone should be mad about this, it's Mrs. Potato Head.
NBC News announced that Megyn Kelly would not be returning to the Today Show after her comments last week about blackface. But don't worry, she's recovering with a nice, relaxing trip to the spa.
SpaceX launched a rocket into orbit carrying the cremated remains of 100 people. Unfortunately, they weren't cremated when it launched.
Anyway, March is Women's History Month, while April is a lot of backed up dishes. R. Kelly has faced a string of financial problems, including unpaid child support. Although for R. Kelly, unpaid child support is also alimony. But do you get it? This week marks the 10th anniversary of the same-sex dating app Grindr, which has all but replaced the old way of finding discreet gay hookups, church camp. Apple has introduced a new line of emojis to represent people with disabilities, such as a person in a wheelchair, or someone who is deaf, or the governor of Virginia.
Also, in honor of International Women's Day, Barbie has released a new Amelia Earhart doll. It's the only Barbie that's got to be around here somewhere.
A regional airport in South Carolina was shut down for several hours after a woman was found wandering the grounds almost completely naked. Well, except for her landing strip.
Good evening, everyone.
Welcome to Weekend Update. I'm Michael Che.
I'm Colin Jost. In a new interview, Billy D. Williams says that actors should be allowed to do blackface, adding, "If you're an actor, you should do anything you want to do." Exactly, said Kevin Spacey.
A new plant has opened. A new plant has opened in Iceland, which is designed to remove climate pollution from the atmosphere using the world's largest vacuum. Aw, a new vacuum, just in time for Mother's Day. I don't know why I thought you'd like that.
A new study suggests that the average man exaggerates the length of their penis by more than 20%. But aren't you supposed to add 20% for tip?
I knew it was going to come out of you someday. Today was the 150th running of the Kentucky Derby, also known among horses as Squid Game.
A sperm donor in the Netherlands who allegedly fathered more than 500 children is being sued for increasing the risk of accidental incest among the kids. Accidental incest is also the title of the worst American Pie sequel.
More than 5,000 people attended a Democratic fundraiser at Radio City Music Hall featuring big-name celebrities like Barack Obama, Stephen Colbert, and Lizzo, as well as lesser-known celebrities like President Joe Biden.
This week, Baltimore's Francis Scott Key Bridge collapsed after it was struck by a cargo ship that was carrying, you won't believe it, Boeing airplanes. A new report from the White House claims that President Biden's billions of dollars of student loan relief will disproportionately help Latinos, which has earned Biden the nickname El Papa de Sugar.
Plans to come to New York on Tuesday to protest Trump's indictment because apparently it takes her 3 days to put on her Joker makeup. No, they'll probably laugh at this next one.
That's the meanest thing you've ever done. I'm covered in sweat. An elementary school teacher in Wisconsin was arrested after she allegedly made out with one of her fifth grade students just months before her wedding, which is why you should never have your bachelorette party at Chuck E. Cheese. In a new interview, Barbra Streisand said that she didn't like the way Siri pronounced her name, so she called Apple CEO Tim Cook and told him to change it. Read more about it in this month's issue of Insanely Unrelatable Anecdotes. Former President Donald Trump, seen here definitely not sleeping. He's probably just praying. Former President Trump, for the first time in his trial, wrote a message on a yellow Post-it note and handed it to his lawyer while he was making an argument. The Post-it read simply, "Can't pay you."
Stormy Daniels testified that during their encounter, Donald Trump did not wear a condom. He tried to put one on, but he was blocked by his tie. Stormy Daniels testified in Donald Trump's hush money trial and was asked to list some of the movies that she's worked on. After she finished, the judge banged the gavel and open oral arguments were the names of the movies. Oh, man, that was a good joke.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, seen here remembering his presidential campaign, signed a bill that will ban social media accounts for younger teenagers. But Florida's older teenagers can keep their social media accounts because they need a place to post their sonograms.
This week, Donald Trump said that he supports abortion laws being decided by the states instead of the federal government. But why stop there? Why not go even smaller and leave it up to the counties or the city? Or even better, take the government out of it completely and leave it the choice about what women can do with their bodies to the person who knows what they could do with them the best, their husbands. Breaks my heart, Colin. Breaks my heart.
Before her testimony, Stormy Daniels agreed not to describe Trump's genitalia in court after she was offered hush money by the jury. But then Florida Senator Rick Scott appeared in court to support Trump, so in a way, we did get to see what Trump's penis would look like.
President Biden said Friday that he would visit the site of the Baltimore bridge collapse because, like that bridge, Biden is no longer connecting with black communities.
In a video on Truth Social, Donald Trump falsely said that Democrats support abortion up to the 9th month and beyond, saying the baby is executed after birth. But he only thinks that happens because when Trump was a baby, a bunch of time travelers showed up trying to kill him.
Some Democrats criticize President Biden for talking about migrants by using the term illegals. But come on, he's 81 years old. Let him slide. He means well. Like when my mom put up that sign to stop Oriental hate. All right. Colin, you go.
MAGA insiders are saying that Noam, seen here wearing the hair of that dog, now has zero chance of being Trump's running mate. But I don't know. Something tells me Trump would fully support killing disobedient pets.
Insiders said that during his hush money trial, Donald Trump complained that none of his supporters were in court with him. But that's not true. What about all those cops?
Biden also took time in his speech to say that shrinkflation is affecting Snickers bars and that people pay the same amount for 10% fewer Snickers. And I got to give him credit because it's pretty risky for a white guy with a stutter to keep saying the word Snickers.
Oh, boy. President Biden said that he supports a bill that would allow the government to ban TikTok, but only because Biden thinks TikTok is a gang member from his old neighborhood.
After Walgreens announced that they will stop selling abortion pills in 21 states, CVS has remained silent on the issue. While over at Rite Aid, you can just grab a pill from the Take Abortion, Leave Abortion program.
King Charles's official portrait is being criticized for depicting him on a harsh red background. But in the royal family, that's better than having a black background. I thought they'd like that, Colin. Scientists in Portugal have accidentally created a mouse embryo that has an extra leg where its genitals should be. And brother, same.
It was reported that President Biden's campaign ended its January fundraising with $56 million in the bank. Now, if he can only remember his ATM code. While boarding Air Force One this week, Biden narrowly avoided tripping and falling on the stairs again, and instead did a forward roll before inviting everyone inside the chocolate factory.
Wednesday was International Women's Day. I said was. Next joke. A new study finds that some New York City rats carry the virus that causes COVID, which is why I always order mine well done. New York City officials are considering controlling the city's growing rat population by using birth control pellets, which will also finally let female rats focus on their careers. I thought they'd like that, Colin.
Better you than me. A high-end fashion brand is selling a pair of jeans for $800, which appear to have a pee stain on the front. Jeans with a pee stain on the front? Please, I can make those in my sleep.
Pet experts are warning people not to bring their dogs to watch next month's solar eclipse, saying that it could be too stressful for them. Pet experts also want you to know that they're looking for real work. A proposed bill in California would create an alert system for missing black women and kids. This is in addition to the alert system for missing white women and kids, the news.
Tucker Carlson, seen here laughing at a dog locked in a hot car, released security footage from the January 6th attacks with the violence edited out and said it proves it was a peaceful gathering, which is like editing all the sex out of a porn video and saying it's a short film about being a stepmom.
A growing number of black men feel like the Trump and Biden campaigns are not actually trying to forge true relationships and just want their votes. Yeah. During a new interview with ABC News, Steve Bannon called himself the voice of MAGA and also the face of gout.
A group of hikers in Great Britain had to be rescued when they got lost after taking psychedelic mushrooms. More embarrassing, they never actually left the house. And police in Australia arrested a man after he was caught at a bus stop masturbating for over an hour. Australia, where the police let you finish.
Manhattan congressional candidate Mike Itkes starred in his own sex tape in an effort to publicize his campaign. And you know what? I'm going to vote for him because I watched that video and we share a lot of the same positions. Thursday was National No Bra Day, which I celebrated by not supporting women. right, Colin? Okay.
I hope not. I don't know. A woman who's been traveling the world says she's gone on 34 first dates in nearly 20 countries. Her secret? She's being sex trafficked.
May is National Masturbation Month, so stop knocking on my dressing room door.
Don't encourage.
Having a real rough time. Well. Insiders said that during his hush money trial, Donald Trump complained that none of his supporters were in court with him. But that's not true. What about all those cops?
It was reported that MSNBC studios in 30 Rock have been infested with bed bugs. For more on this story, everybody look under your seats.
Netflix announced that in July it will live stream a fight between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. But the real fight will be Mike Tyson trying to pronounce Netflix. A new study finds that despite women making less money than men, more single women in the U.S. own homes than single men, thanks to a phenomenon economists call divorce. Doctors in Iowa have confirmed a dog disease that can be passed on to humans. Fine, I'll wear a condom. Oh, wow. Okay.
For the first time ever, two brothers will be facing off against each other in the Super Bowl. Incidentally, two brothers in the Super Bowl is why my grandfather won't be watching.
On February, man. Wow. Mental health experts are now recommending that children start being screened for anxiety when they are 8 years old, because it can be pretty stressful down at that old iPhone factory.
Wildlife officials in Tennessee have captured a 500-pound black bear living on a college campus. A black bear that, let's face it, took the spot of more deserving white and Asian bears.
Elon Musk offered to buy Twitter for over $40 billion so he can loosen its free speech rules. That's how badly white guys want to use the N-word. A New Jersey man was arrested after he ran over a woman multiple times in a road rage incident. Said the woman, sorry, sorry. A 220-carat diamond known as the Rock will become the largest white diamond ever auctioned off. Wow, 220 carats. I mean, can you imagine the size of the child who mined that? It's huge, man.
I don't know. A substitute teacher in North Carolina has resigned after she reportedly told a class of elementary students that Martin Luther King Jr. killed himself. In her defense, he is the one who decided to keep running his mouth. Why? You're going to get me murdered. I want to switch it up a little. Che didn't write this one. This is all me.
To hear this.
Last week was National Rosa Parks Day, or as we call it in my house, Uppity Bus Passenger Day.
Oh, you're gonna get letters about that one. Virginia has become the first state in the South to abolish the death penalty. So if you'll excuse me, I've got some white women to whistle at. Mel Gibson is reportedly in talks to direct a new Lethal Weapon movie. But if you want to see a broken down black guy team up with a handsome racist, just watch Weekend Update. A growing number of NFL players are filling up their off time by playing chess with each other. And also, let's see here, domestic violence. That's how they're spending their time, Colin.
This week, Britain's most eligible bachelor, Prince Andrew. officially deleted his Twitter account after he realized that's not the app with all the dancing teenagers.
Hefty has introduced pumpkin spice into trash bags, and I gotta say, pumpkin spice into trash bags is probably the best slur for white people I've ever heard. After it allowed users to talk with Jesus and Hitler and one guy who thinks he's both. This is just news, guys. Wednesday was National Coffee with a Cop Day, and something tells me cops like their coffee black with a couple of shots in it.
Oh my God.
New York City is now requiring employers to disclose salary ranges in all job listings. Employers must list everything ranging from the top salary all the way down to the female salary.
A new report finds that as people move into formerly wild areas of Africa, human activity is disrupting chimpanzee culture. Incidentally, chimpanzee culture is also what my grandpa calls hip-hop. Why?
I wouldn't have said that.
A student in Texas, who is nicknamed White Lightning, set a high school record by running the 100-meter dash in 9.98 seconds. Coincidentally, people call me White Lightning because I also finish in under 10 seconds.
German researchers have recorded the shortest interval of time for an event to begin and end. The event finished so quickly, scientists have named it Che.
Oh, this is fun. An alligator in Florida was photographed swimming with a football in its mouth. Turning now to sports news, Tom Brady is missing.
A personal injury attorney in Florida allegedly drove her car into 4 people. Said the attorney, "Have you been injured in an accident?" A new lawsuit accuses Burger King of falsely advertising their Whoppers as bigger than what people actually get. It's the same accusation made in the case of Women versus Michael Che. It was reported that after Morgan Wallen lost his recording contract when he was caught on video using the N-word, sales for his albums rose over 1,000%, proving my long-held theory that if NBC would just let me say it, the ratings will go up.